What's going on, guys? I'm Jay the Black. Salute to everyone that's tuning in. I want to talk about Claressa Shields. She is a championship boxer. She's won championships of boxing. She's now done MMA as well. And she has some choice words for Jake Paul. Now, this all goes back to the fight that Jake Paul had with Tyron Woodley, And she talked about how basically she felt like it wasn't a close fight. She felt like Tyron won. And she did not believe that Jake Paul won that fight. Now, I will say this. There are a lot of people who've allowed Jake Paul to live rent-free in their minds to the point to where they will pay money just for the thought of him losing. Because Jake Paul likes to run his mouth, and he does like to talk trash to either professional boxers or others, right? But mainly professional boxers, because that's where the money is. Jake Paul is chasing the money. He's trying to pull a Floyd Mayweather and be as big a personality as not Floyd Mayweather, He's trying to be Conor McGregor. Like, he literally, listen, Jake Paul wants to be Conor McGregor. We all know this. And he's doing it now more than ever to maximize earning situations for him and his brother, which I'm not mad at all. I mean, y'all have allowed this guy to live rent-free in your minds to the point where you're willing to pay money just if you think he's going to lose. And he knows this. And he's obviously rent-free in Claressa's mind because she's now challenging to fight him. But let's get into his article from TMZ. It says Claressa Shields isn't playing around when it comes to Jake Paul. The boxer and MMA superstar is throwing down the gauntlet, challenging the problem child to a fight and promising to beat his ass. Once again, why do women always out here trying to think they can challenge men? I know that she's a champion boxer. I know that she's been very successful. But Jake Paul has been training as well. Okay? It's not like he's one of these guys that can't throw a punch. You know, men's boxing, women's boxing is different. Yes, you know, there are those that probably could kick a man's ass, but if a guy is a trained boxer as well, are you really going to be able to knock him out? Are you really going to be able to beat him up? But in her mind, she could do that. TMZ Sports talked to the 26-year-old two-time Olympic gold medalist who just recently vowed to never fight on a Paul undercard, claiming it be disrespectful to her incredible career. We'll say that to Floyd and these other boxers. Well, mainly Floyd, who has done this. He's fought one of the Paul brothers because Floyd cares about the money. He doesn't care about whether he's fighting another, professional boxer who's had the same career as him. He cares about the money. Jake Paul cares about the money. Logan Paul cares about the money. That's why he calls these people out, because it's going to get attention and it's going to do numbers for the pay-per-view buys. It's going to gain the amount of traction that it will be needed in order to get people to, for whatever reason, spend money on his fights. Let's see. I wasn't talking shit about Jake Paul yesterday. What I was speaking was facts. Jake Paul gets inside a boxing ring with me, he's getting his ass whooped. And that's what she said. You can see from this video here. Claressa wasn't best pleased. When asked if she would fight on a Jake Paul undercard, I can beat up Jake Paul at the weight class I'm at right now. And Shields is down to put her money where her mouth is. And if the YouTuber turned boxer doesn't want to a real sanctioned fight, Claressa is down to spar and let his cameras roll the entire time. I bet you Jake Paul would get hurt. He'd probably get dropped. He would have a newfound respect for me if we spar or fight, Shields says. I don't know if, listen, correct me if I'm wrong, but has Jake Paul ever dissed her? Has Jake Paul ever publicly said anything about her? I haven't heard anything. We've only heard Claressa speaking. Why do you want this guy's validation so much? This is what I'm trying to figure out. You're an Olympic gold medalist. You've won championships while boxing. Now you're doing MMA, right? Seems to be going, I would say, good, I guess, right? Why do you want to get into the ring with Jake Paul? He's a YouTuber, remember? He's a YouTuber. He's a loudmouth YouTuber. He seems to be an arrogant YouTuber, but that's what YouTubers do. They do what they can to get you to view their videos. He has that trained mindset. He has the trained mindset of a content creator. They have to do what it takes to get you to view their videos. Just look at the title of some of these vloggers' videos. It's all about getting people to view, and he's taking that same mindset to boxing. And I saw a video where she talked about how he's brought a lot of attention to boxing and money. He's brought his fans who are paying money to watch his fights, the people who are on his cards. Those people benefit from Jake Paul. So why do you want to get into the ring with this guy so bad again? Did he diss you? But we're going to get into the rest of this article. I'm not calling Jake Paul out because I know how the world looks at women fighting men. They look at it like, oh no, ill, but I spar men daily, and that's the truth. Yeah, nobody wants to see a intergender boxing match. Some people may pay to see that. Some people are into that. There are those that are not. Claressa, the only fighter, male or female, to hold all 4 major titles in multiple weight classes, also took issue with Paul addressing female boxing star Amanda Serrano, who he just signed to his MVP promotions as the greatest female fighter ever, because he was trolling. This is the post here, because Jake Paul was trolling. That's what he does. Now, again, he signed her. She seems to be good with Jake. She's on his team. She's team Jake Paul. And maybe she thinks that, he did this to get at her. But she has had her share of success as well. So in his opinion, because she signed to him, he's going to big her up. I'm the MFing GOAT. I guess greatest woman of all time. I saw him make that post today with Amanda. He needs to know that I am the GOAT. By the way, there is zero beef between Claressa and Amanda. In fact, Shields says she has love and respect for Amanda. Bottom line, Shields, who returns to the PFL MMA cage October 27th, has a message for Jake and anyone else who thinks she can't handle herself in the ring because she's a woman. Nobody has ever said that Claressa can't handle herself as a female boxer. Like, what is with this gender war BS? They did it with Floyd Mayweather and Ronda Rousey. They tried to create some beef between them. Then she goes on to get whooped by 2 women in consecutive fights. The media is pushing this, but Claressa seems to be the main one who's putting this out here. Claressa. Nobody's being disrespectful of you. Nobody is saying that they could beat you in a fight. It's obvious that, once again, guys like Jake Paul is living rent-free in your mind. You're seeing him knock this brother out and that brother out. He only knocked one brother out, but he's won this fight with this brother, and he's won this fight with this brother, and you're mad about that. But again, those guys chose to fight Jake Paul. Jake Paul is cherry picking his opponents. But when you are the main draw on your card, you can do those things. You can do it. And thing is, with Tyron came close to knocking out Jake Paul. And Tyron, people from the analysis I've heard, and even me seeing the clips, because I didn't pay for the fight, he was timid. And that is why Jake Paul, even Logan almost got knocked out. I don't care what nobody says. But they understand at the end of the day, those guys are going to draw money. As long as those guys are drawing money, there's going to be people that are willing to fight in those cards. You feel like it's disrespectful to be on a Jake Paul card. That's fine. But this whole, I'm going to challenge men to fights. Listen, man. I don't care how good of a boxer you is as a woman. You get a well-trained male boxer and a well-trained female boxer. Who do you think is going to win that fight? It's like this is why you don't see WNBA players challenging NBA players. It will be a complete mismatch. And I don't care how great a WNBA player is. It's still going to be a complete mismatch. Can't even say the words. She says, cut the shit. Don't disrespect my skills. Look, just because a man is a man and he's in boxing doesn't mean that they can beat me. And there's a lot of guys who's been in boxing for years who cannot do nothing with me, let alone Jake Paul. If I was a little bit bigger, I'd call out Logan Paul. Okay, she's confident, which is fine. But this gender war BS, this whole thing about how, I can beat a man. Listen, man, whatever. If you think that you're bad enough to step into a boxing ring, I'm not talking about sparring when they're going easy on you. I'm talking about when you step into a boxing ring with a well-trained male boxer who's going to be faster, who's going to hit harder. Let's see that. All you gender war pushing heifers, let's see if you do that. I highly doubt you're going to want to do that again. Because we're not talking about sparring. We're talking about getting into the ring. And we're talking about going one-on-one. But y'all let's see in the comment section below and let me know your thoughts.